Hello, it's Rob here and welcome to this, the first of my build videos of my Ford Bronco CC02M. Very kindly donated to me by the RC Junkie, and we're going to get straight into it with parts bag A, which is steps 1 to 7, and we're going to miss step 1 because it's plugging the battery in to charge up, and I'm sure I've got some somewhere charged. So we're going to jump to step 2. Now, reading through this, step 2 is building up the gear ratios, and for this you can have 2 gear ratios. We can have a standard one or a low speed one. So I'm going to concentrate on the low speed one. So first off, do stuff. First off, we get this part here, which is GB2 and it's 45 tooth, and then we need one of these steel pins, and checking the orientation of MA16 bar, we pop the rod through. Ooh. And this is the tricky bit. We get the gear and pop it on, and as I say, because I'm going for the low speed, I'm going to take this part here, GB3, which is 20 tooth, and we're going to pop that one on instead of GB1, which is 26 tooth. So we pop that in there, and we pop that over as well, it says. There we go. And then, oops, we need an 1150 bearing, and in this case RC Junkies also supplied me with metal bearings, so I've chucked the plastic bushings away because I think I've got millions of them. And then we pop a circlip on. There we go. Almost. There we go. And that's your first gear sorted. I've done this, I think this is the A gear. I'll have to check. Yep. With that lovely metal gear, which is, I think, is it 19 tooth, do they say, or don't they say what tooth is? Oh no, it's another 20 tooth one. So I've done that one. I didn't realise it would fall apart when I picked it up, so we can leave that one, and we can then move on to which one is it? Gear shaft C. So we've got another circlip there, so I think we can put that on. Yeah, I can't see why we can't put that on now. Whoops. Hooray! Yep, so that's on. So then we need to orientate it, and we need another pin. Oops. And the gear, and then another 2 bearings, one on either side. And yeah, it falls apart again, and I forgot the bearing on this end for that gear, so there we go. That was that was all the gears made up till this one fell apart. I'll get the bits ready for step 3 and we can carry on. Right, step 3 is installing the gears into the gearbox. So without further ado, we will get on with A2. And A2, we need to do a few bits, which is installing these 3mm nuts, and they're going like so, but this one needs to be held in place by a 2x6mm screw and washer, which then goes in there. If I can get it in, and just, yep, that'll do. And then we can take a screwdriver. Doesn't look like it's going to hold it in place, but I shall see in a second. There we go, we'll tighten that up. So, well, yeah, it's a loose fit. The other one, however, just slots in there like that. So bear that in mind when we come to join them up. Now, there's a note here that says apply synthetic rubber cement to the places shown on this mark. I wonder why that is. I would have thought that would have been held in place. Let me just check. Yeah. So, do you know what? I ain't got a clue what synthetic rubber cement is, so I'm not going to bother. We'll leave it loose and see how we get on. Right, so the main bit, we take part A1, and this is like some sort of plastic alloy amalgamation. I'm not sure, I can't remember. It doesn't quite look like FRP, but it might just be the colour plastic they use to mix in with the fibres. But anyway, we are going to need to do some greasing, I believe, and I think we start off by pushing that through there and then locating the bearing. And for applying grease, we've only got the one tub, but it's ceramic grease, so I'm going to use that. And what I tend to do is put a blob on, and then spread it round with a paintbrush like that. And then, looking at the diagram, we've got this one that pops in there, and then finally this one, once I've put it back together, it looks like that's how it all goes together. So I'll get on and grease it all up, and then this just goes on like so, and that's why they want you to glue that in, because it fell out. But hey, I'll sort that out and show you the outcome shortly. Right, so here it is. It's held in with 4 12mm screws and 1 22mm self-tappers. Okay, so step 4 is making up the spur gear and then putting it into this gearbox here. So we've got parts A5 and the 83 tooth spur gear. Now that's a big spur gear if you ask me. I don't think I've ever seen one that big before. and we pop A5 through, and then that's held in together with just 2 screws, and it doesn't seem to matter where you screw them in as long as you do. That's like that. We then pass the spur gear through, and then we've got to try to line up the hole to put the 10mm bar through. Come on, you could do it. There we go. Surely, okay. Right. Okay, so what I've had to do is grab the shaft and pull it out so that the holes actually line up enough, and then we've got this screw here that goes in there, which once tightened will hold that pin in loosely. So I'll go round and grease that up, and we can carry on. Step 5 is installing the spur gear cover, which is part A3, but we also need this little part here, which is A6. That seems telling you to glue this in, but there are clips for you to be able to take it out. So I'm just going to try grease and see how I get on. And I think it should just push in, and yeah, it looks like it's going to hold in place. It's a bit loose, but hopefully that bit of grease that I put on will keep any dust out. Right, so coming back then, we've got orientation this way round. Yes. Right, now this is going to be tricky for my podgy fingers. We've got to install one of these nuts in there. There we go, I think it's in. But then that one we've got to hold in place with a 2mm screw and washer, like that. Yeah, and it's not coming out. But again, the other side is telling me to glue it in. So we are going to put some of this sticky grease in and pop it in and see how we get on. And then before I join them up, I'm going to go around with the same grease, just hopefully to help seal it. There we go, and then we need to bring this in and join them together somehow. Something along those lines, I think. It goes, slots in there, that's it. Yep, I think that's how it goes. And then that one there. Right, I don't know why, but this first screw is an MA3, which is 10mm. So that can go in there, and the other 3 are 12mm for some reason. So it's one there, I'm assuming one there, yeah, and the last one there. So I'll finish that off and we can turn the page. The last 2 steps for this episode 6 and 7 are installing the pinion gear in the motor and then installing the motor into the gearbox. So we'll start off with installing the pinion gear. Okay, so you're supplied with a 16 tooth pinion gear and a 3x3mm grub screw, as well as the motor plates, which I've already put in and lined up. So there's a flat on the motor output shaft that you line up with your grub screw, and then on the right hand side here it's telling you 14mm. So that's pretty close to me, so we'll tighten it up a bit more because I've just moved there. See what that's like. Yeah, maybe tap it in a bit if I can. And yeah, that should do. So I'm going to tighten it up, and that's that bit. And then moving swiftly on to step 7, we need to install the motor itself, and it goes in like so. And another fiddly job, because we've got hex screws for this one for some strange reason. And for the motor mount itself, we've got these 2 washers, which I have no idea why they're on there, because they're not even as wide as the head of the screw. Oh well. Another Tamiya mystery. So pop the thing through, line the screw hole up if you can. And allow clearance, it says. So, where's a bit of paper? Okay, so I've got a bit of paper because I use this to get my gaps, and can't move it because I've tightened something up a bit too tight. There we go. So I then push down quite firmly, tighten one up, tighten 2 up, and then give it a yank. I think I might have done that a bit too tight. Oh dear. Right, well, we'll see how we go with that. So there we have one gearbox and motor almost installed. I forgot I've got this one bit left that goes on there, so we'll quickly grab my paintbrush and sticky stuff, and we'll go around this joint here, and it goes on like that and is held in with another one of these hex screws for some reason. And there we have one completed gearbox. So with that, I'm going to leave it here because it's the end of parts bag A. I hope you've enjoyed watching and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers, bye!